With McLaren's recent upgrades and Lando Norris's win in Miami, Ferrari have lost their position as Red Bull's closest contender. The Papaya team's decision to bring upgrades to Miami was a big shock to everyone and gave them an early advantage in the development race. But with the European leg about to start in Imola, Ferrari will be ready to strike back. The Scudderia have been hard at work behind the scenes and are ready to make some huge changes in the hope that they can make a mark in the title battle. The SF24 2.0 is ready to go, and with personnel changes on the pit wall, can Ferrari now fight Verstappen? Well, let's find out. While the rest of the F1 grid have been having a quick rest after the jet-set first 6 races of the F1 season, Ferrari have been hard at work at the home track in Fiorano. The team trialled a new, more aggressive spray guard system in testing at the circuit, which is the home of the Scudderia, on Thursday. Photos from the test showed Charles Leclerc's brother Arthur driving the 2023 Ferrari SF75 with fully covered front and rear full-wet tyres. The guards include 2 holes in front but are fully covered at the back. Later on in the day, the team tried another version of the guards with spoke-like sides. The Italian squad's reserve driver, Oliver Bearman, ran behind Leclerc in a 2024 car to check the visibility. F1's wet tyres have essentially become useless since the introduction of ground effect cars in 2022 because the downforce levels produced are so high that the rooster tails of spray created in the wet make visibility dangerously bad. The spray guards are an attempt by the FIA to make wet weather racing an option once again. Importantly, the test was organised by the FIA and will not count as a filming day for Ferrari. With the whole team at the track already, Ferrari are going to use Friday as a filming day and a chance to test their upgrades ready for the race in Imola. Previously, teams were limited to 100 kilometers of running on such filming days, which amounts to less than 20 laps of a typical track. This season, though, they're allowed to run 200 kilometers in total. This means for a track like Silverstone, where teams could only run 16 laps beforehand, they'll now be allowed to go for 33. They are still only allowed 2 filming days per season, but that 200 kilometers worth of running is essentially an entire free practice session, and when you have massive upgrades like Ferrari do, that extra free practice session can be a huge boon. While filming days are conducted on special Pirelli tyres not used in the races, it gives the Scuderia some useful data to compare the new upgrades to their virtual counterparts and correlate the work that's been done in the wind tunnel by the Enrico Cardiel-led technical team. At Ferrari, there's a lot of optimism that putting the new components onto the SF24 will give them a big boost, although to the public, team principal Fred Vasseur has been keen not to exaggerate and instead keep expectations low. We're at a point in the development of these machines where the updates do not lead to a huge leap in performance. However, he did say that even a small step could make the difference for them. It's true that this year we're all closer. Earning even just a tenth thanks to changes can make the difference. However, McLaren appeared to make a huge leap in performance with what was essentially a brand new car in Miami, and Ferrari could do the same in Imola. And this is going to be a brand new car from Ferrari according to Formula Uno, an outlet with sources within Ferrari. The entire package will bring more downforce, but more importantly, it will give better aero efficiency, reducing the drag created by the car, allowing for quicker acceleration and top speed. To make that happen, Ferrari's upgrades will start at the front end, like McLaren's did, with a brand new front wing. Getting a good airflow from the front end makes the aero performance of the rest of the car work more consistently and more effectively. Going back from the front wing, there is a completely overhauled ground effect floor, which Ferrari will hope will give them a big step in downforce produced. Above that, there's an extreme change to the side pod inlets. Red Bull popularized the big underbite side pod last season, which was copied by pretty much every team on the grid this year. However, the RB20 debuted with a huge overbite and vertical inlets, which Ferrari have taken inspiration from. They've changed from the underbite to the overbite, which will have a big effect on how the air flows over the side pods on its way to the rear of the car. Ferrari aren't going to be changing the layout of their internal cooling though. Mid-season, that's just too big an expenditure for not enough performance gain. They will be changing the profile of the upper surface of their side pods though, to improve the airflow over the car and adapt to the changes further forward in the overall aero profile. At the back of the car, the rear wing will also be getting an updated profile to match the changing airflow from the rest of the car. If everything goes as well as they hope in Maranello, the improvements with the new upgrade should be around 15 overall load efficiency points, which would mean 0.3 of a second per lap gained, with an even greater improvement in race pace expected. For Charles and Carlos, if the upgrades give the performance Ferrari expects them to, this will give them a car capable of fighting Red Bull. 0.3 of a second in qualifying would have been enough of a boost to put a Ferrari on pole in Bahrain, Australia and Miami. If the upgrade gives them that or more in race pace as well, then Ferrari would have been in a fight with Max at most races so far this season, and quite comfortably ahead of Perez. Speaking on the Fast and Curious podcast, journalist Christian Hugill revealed just how happy the Ferrari factory team are with the work they've done. Apparently, Ferrari are rather pleased with their upcoming upgrades that they're due to bring in Imola. Last year, Red Bull only didn't win one race. They couldn't hook it up and get the car happy for one race. This year, that's happened twice. In Australia, they weren't happy with the car and they had a mechanical problem. In Miami, they've not been able to hook the car up. It does feel like the needle is shifting. Ferrari will be hoping that that needle will be shifting a long way in their favour from Imola onwards, allowing them to mount a title battle in both the Constructors' and Drivers' Championship. Charles especially will be looking for a boost as he tries to prove that Ferrari made the right decision by keeping him instead of Carlos Sainz for 2025. To help with that, there'll be some personnel changes in Charles' side of the garage. Ferrari have announced that Leclerc will work with a new race engineer from next weekend, with his former engineer, Xavier Marcos Padros, set to continue outside the team's F1 department. Xavi has risen to infamy in F1 as part of the Ferrari clown wall of recent years, often heard saying his catchphrase, "We are checking," in response to everything Charles says. Xavi has been Leclerc's race engineer ever since the driver joined Ferrari for his second season in Formula 1 in 2019. Ferrari announced in a statement that Marcos Padros will move from his position as Leclerc's race engineer with immediate effect. Ferrari announces that, as of Monday the 13th of May, Xavi Marcos will bring his valuable experience gained as a race engineer with the Formula 1 team to the development of other important company programs, the team said. Ferrari subsequently confirmed Leclerc's performance engineer, Brian Bozzi, will take over as his race engineer from the Imola round, meaning the driver will have a new voice in his ear over team radio for the first time as a Ferrari driver. All of Leclerc's 5 Grand Prix victories, 23 pole positions and 33 podium finishes in his F1 career have been achieved at Ferrari alongside Marcos Padros. The pair worked together for their final time in last weekend's Miami Grand Prix, where Leclerc finished on the podium in 3rd place. They have experienced some frustrations during their time together, notably during the 2022 season, where Leclerc lost his early lead in the championship through a combination of unreliability and errors including tactical mistakes. Leclerc was especially infuriated by confusion over a pit stop during that year's Monaco Grand Prix, his home race, which cost him the lead and led to him finishing outside of the top 3. Whether that frustration is the reason for the change, though, is unknown. The swap wouldn't have been made on a whim, and clearly Ferrari have decided that there is an advantage to having Brian Bozzi on the pit wall instead of Xavi from now on. Do you think the combination of a new race engineer and a completely revamped car could power Charles to a race win in Imola? Or do you think Red Bull will still have too much performance? Let me know your opinion in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.